Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host and the noob, name of Caliban, and I'm a member of the Soup for Breakfast Club.
Oh, no. All right.
Hey.
And we're a couple of magical people ready to moon cosmic power make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 108. Usagi no dansu wa warutsu ni notte in Japanese. Usagi dancing to the waltz, the English translation, and the English title, Everything's Coming Up Rosy.
Yeah, but let's talk about what I really want to talk about. And that's Shoujo Commando Izumi.
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
We're only like 5 episodes in, and they're already doing a Breakfast Club riff, basically.
That's true.
Where it's like she has to go to detention with a bunch of other kids. And I'm watching this and I'm like, this is the Breakfast Club.
It is the Breakfast Club.
But it's Japan. So it's the Soup for Breakfast Club.
I get it.
That's where that joke.
I like it. I like it.
Ooh, oh.
I get
Only
it.
simple minds will get this.
I mean, like, soup for breakfast as a Westerner is a very weird thing to kind of
Yes.
put your head around.
Yeah, well, it's been weird for me individually.
I get it. It was weird for me when I first learned about it too. But you know what I think is weirder is having whole fish for breakfast
No,
on
kippers?
top of like rice and stuff like that.
What about like kippers? People in England
For
and
breakfast?
New England have fish for breakfast. Sure, yeah.
I guess it's a coastal thing. It makes my stomach go nuts. I don't know. The idea of having like miso soup, I'm like, I guess I could see it, like tofu, and then like you got the miso, so it's like
Tofu
you know
for breakfast.
it's like it's soft on your stomach.
That's even
like
a bigger ask. I don't know about that.
I don't know. It's not acidic.
You know what's not a big ask?
What?
For Netflix customers?
What?
Watching anime.
Is that right?
I read in a news article that 50%, more, over 50%, so let's say 50.1%
Sure.
of Netflix's subscribers worldwide watched at least one anime show on the service in 2021.
Is that right?
Yes.
That's surprising.
And Netflix's anime creative director, Kohei Obara, who is Japanese, was saying that in Japan, 90% of Japanese users are watching anime.
Sure, that
But
makes sense.
The anime is growing to this new level. You know, over half of worldwide, and of course a big 65% of Netflix's customer base is outside of America, but that means like 45%, 35, I can do math, is. So yeah, so like the American, user base is also watching their anime,
That's
which is good
really
news.
cool. Yeah.
Here's the news.
Uh-oh.
It's Netflix anime. Netflix anime is like, we have anime at home. Netflix anime. It's not the best anime.
Well, you're talking about like original series put out by Netflix, or
Yeah, I'm talking about the fact that anime itself is becoming Netflixed. So I don't know how excited I'm supposed to get about this, especially with the demise of Funimation and then being reborn as the new crappy, you got to pay for it, Crunchyroll.
I know.
And then now you're like, where do you go? Okay, Netflix is your subscription service. You can watch anime there, but all their anime is like crappy modern like reboots. Fruits Basket reboot.
They have to have some.
Sailor Moon Crystal.
They have to have some. I mean, okay, Crystal, I don't like.
I can't wait for the Cowboy Bebop refresh.
Okay,
Right? We'll just
all right.
fix that. We got to fix that
Don't fix it.
because the old one says, fix it.
Okay, let's take a step back. Like, I don't think that necessarily doing reboots is a bad thing, or doing things differently. Do I think that Cowboy Bebop is one that needs it? No. Did I think that Fruits Basket or Sailor Moon needed it? Not really. But
So you're good arguments for your position.
all right, but I do like Crystal. I especially liked the movies that came out last year. I thought they were really well done, and I think that the animation has really improved. I really like the style a lot more than when it initially started. And I do think it's cool that, you know, it's like cleaving more to the anime or to the manga, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I think we can have both, but I do understand what you mean. And some of the anime on Netflix is like it's just kind of subpar.
Let's have both. We buy hamburgers at McDonald's, but we've got a ride of fries at home.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying here, that this is we've got it at home.
Maybe it's, you know, speaking of an episode that's looking towards the future.
Yeah.
Maybe we can look towards the future and Netflix to refine its offerings and what it's producing. Because right now, you know, we know how Netflix started, or maybe we don't remember how Netflix started, with B and C movies, because they didn't have any licensing deals.
Right.
And so you could get, you know, Truckosaurus or something like that sent to you on DVD. And then slowly they've built up this streaming service by figuring out that's the way that things are going and sticking to their guns. But also they're very jealous of what they've created. And they are really mad that Coda won the Oscar and not, you know, whatever they had out, Don't Look Up or whatever. But I mean, that's shame on you guys. And so they're still like jealously owning all of their stuff. And if they give more latitude to creators, or just do straight up buy deals where it's like, so-and-so creator, Masaki Yuasa or something, makes some weird show without any influence from them and maybe a little money from them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just buy that and just say, all right, this is Netflix branded, but this isn't like Oak Joe. We didn't try to like bring this into form, you know, whole cloth.
Right.
Then we'll get some good anime. But as long as they're just making safe bets, like remaking Sailor Moon or doing a live action Cowboy Bebop, you know, and just taking that, like, it's that like brand recognition thing, you know, I'm sure it'll be fine. But Obi-Wan, the show, you know, he's just going to look at Luke playing around, pretending he's pod racing for 6 episodes. Like, who cares? Do something new. Do something original. Why are you doing this?
Here's a maybe not so hot take on the Obi-Wan show. Isn't it a little weird that an old man is just watching a young kid?
Hello there, little boy.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of old men watching kids do things.
Oh, man!
We'll be getting to that a little later. But first, I want to talk about the 2 new inner senshis that have joined us on our Patreon, which is very exciting. Say hello to Alexandra and Decorum.
Hello, Alexandra and Decorum.
But she literally did it. And they're both joining us.
I am Gracie. Hello.
At the $5 level. And so thanks for doing that. And we hope that you enjoy our extended content, like our show Animatification, which has had a big double episode.
Yes.
Where we talked about 2 different animes. And of course, we're returning to covering Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, the good remake. They went, what if we remade this? But also we put real life girls in it, and then we updated it.
Yes.
Both in terms of references from the decade that we're in, but also the emotions, feelings, and problems of a high school girl and not a teenage little girl.
Yes.
Junior high girl.
Junior high girl, little girl. Okay.
Who's the old man now? I love the rosy future. Sorry, we'll get there.
Can I say something? Like, I was thinking a couple episodes ago, you asked me, you said something about how you feel kind of protective of the girls because
I think that ended up on our outtakes, which is another feature of our Patreon, available to both inner and outer senshi.
Yeah.
But I did say something like that.
Yeah, and because you feel kind of fatherly towards them, and you asked me how I felt, and I didn't exactly express myself super well, but I've been thinking about it more, and the thing is, when I initially got into Sailor Moon, I was around their age.
Yeah.
So to me, even though I'm a lot older now and they're still the same age, they are my peers.
Yeah.
They are my friends.
I'll tell you.
So I am not protective of them. I'm protective of Chibi.
Yeah.
But, not them.
I'll tell you. This is the outside. This is my perspective, not as a woman, but I think the father, unless you're a weirdo, the fatherly thing starts earlier for a man, I think, than it does a woman. But when you start looking at the girls on Sailor Moon, like in a motherly way, and you're like, oh, girls, no. Then you know, oh, no, I'm old. right? That's when you know that you'll be old.
What if I just remain young at heart my entire life?
Or do that. And hold big dances in your weird house with all your roses.
Oh, nice to meet you, but M-E-A-T, I'm thinking.
No. All right. So anyway, thanks to Alexandra and Decorum.
Yes, thank you.
Enjoy your inner senshiness. I also, believe it or not, have another bit of business to do. We have a new iTunes review.
Yay!
Can't believe it. You know, it never rains, but it pours. But I love the rain.
Yeah, me too.
Looks like rain.
Rainy day, man, on your shoulder.
What is this?
It's Lita's image song from the English dub.
I'm such a noob in so many ways still.
we talked about it.
This is a 5-star review on iTunes from JJ Boo Bear, if that really is your name.
All right.
And the review goes, this podcast is a great listen and also educational. I'm fascinated by other cultures, and I appreciate the mixture of anime talk and cultural exchange. Keep up the great work.
Awesome. Thank
you, Boo Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, totally.
Provide the cultural context to what a lot of these bits are. Because I know, for one, before this show, was an anime viewer, I would just watch anime and I go, oh yeah, they're eating soup for breakfast. Okay. You know, or they would say, oh, why is that guy wearing like a t-shirt and that person is wearing like a yukata or something like that? But it's like, oh, now I know, like, oh, they're going somewhere, or it's a viewing party. People like to dress up traditionally.
Right.
Going to have
Hanami, you got it.
See, it works.
You got it.
It works. And Boo Bear knows what we're talking about. So thanks for that 5-star review. If you want to leave us a review on iTunes or on your listening platform of choice, go do that. And of course, we'll read it on the air and you'll have our eternal gratitude.
Yes. And I see what you did there, whether you meant to or not, like Sailor Moon Eternal Sailor Moon.
Look, Sailor Moon mindset.
Yeah.
That's where I am.
Yeah.
I'm just grinding.
I'm in a Sailor Moon kind of
I'm just grinding that moon.
Yeah.
I'm on the moon grind.
Well, maybe we should grind on the dance floor and get the show on the road. Maybe you can show us the moves of how this episode goes.
I didn't want to interrupt you. You seem to be in a mood, in a grind yourself.
In a groove.
Yeah, okay. I don't think that kind of dancing is happening. Although I guess, oh boy, Sailor Moon Dirty Dancing. That's
oh boy,
that's for Sailor Moon nights. But it's not night. It's an afternoon. We open on a hot summer afternoon in Japan in an air-conditioned room, romantically drifting into a happy daydream. This is all VO from Usagi. She's doing my job for me.
Yes.
Keep going, kid. What's next? But no more of that, because Minako grabs Usagi's ear and says, no time for daydreaming, because everybody's studying and having iced herb tea.
Yeah, apparently.
And isn't all tea herb tea? And they're at, technically,
yeah.
And they're at Mamoru's place, so he can help them study, I guess, or maybe it's because he has air conditioning,
yeah,
which he points out. And Ray's like, no, your tea is great too.
Yeah.
Good herbs. But the words "too late" appear behind her, and he's like, "Yeah, thanks for the compliment." Ami is checking out his bookshelf, and she's impressed by his many leather-bound books.
Yes,
like Basic Dictionary of Ancient Babylonian.
What?
Fluid Dynamics and Wave Engineering, Computer Languages and Symbolic Logic, and World Curries you can make yourself. And I would like to assume, as I have previously, that they all, are plants. They all mean something somewhere. The Babylonian, I'm not sure, but maybe something to do with, ancient religion, and the fluid dynamics and wave engineering. The computers, Yodel has a computer. The curry, I don't know, just curry.
I think the curry.
I just love curry.
This is my headcanon, but I'd like to think that he got that after him and Usagi tried to help Chibi with her curry for her school.
Sure, that's a leftover from that. All right.
That's my headcanon.
Maybe these all refer to previous episodes. Okay, I don't have the time to do this, but that's I like that.
Yeah.
She points out that it's an eclectic selection, and he's like, yeah, I don't want to limit myself to just one thing. And Mako says, wow, you're a jack of all trades and a master of none. And he says, yeah, actually, that's not a compliment, being associated with Aziz Ansari.
Oh!
He said, yeah, I said it. He says, I guess you guys need to study more. How about English? And he gets out his English textbook. And I'm going to spot him this. He's kind of acting like a know-it-all jerk.
Yeah,
but
a little bit.
He is a college student, and I get that he's more educated, and they're here to learn, everybody, not to make out with you.
Yes.
So Usagi says, "Oh, I'm no good at English." And he says, "You mean at English too?" Which seems like I don't know what she said in the voiceover, but the words on the screen, I'm no good at English, except for like no good isn't like a great phrase, but that's fine, right? So he's not correcting your grammar. He's saying, not only are you not good at English, there are many subjects that you are not good at.
That's what I took it as well.
Now listen here, toothpaste boy. I spotted you before. I'm taking that back.
Yeah.
You're back on notice. The doorbell rings and Usagi answers it, and it's a dapper gentleman in a Victorian suit with a cane and a fancy hat. And Usagi's like, we already subscribed to the paper. Thanks.
Yeah.
But the guy says, "Good afternoon, young lady."
Yes.
And Usagi thinks, my arch nemesis, English. And she says in Japanese, "I am English. No, can't understand."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What? Oh, I see. You don't speak English." Dude, where did Google Maps bring you? We're in Japan.
I know.
Speak Japanese.
Yeah.
Love it or leave it. And he says, "Is Mamoru here?" And she's like, yeah. Oh, no, you speak Japanese.
I know.
Mamoru thankfully arrives to get us out of this, and he greets his friend Edwards. The girls come out as well, and Minako says, "Nice to meet you," with relative skill. Rei says, "Hello." And Ami says, "I'm glad to see you." And Mako says, "Thank you." Close.
Yeah.
Close. Happy birthday.
I like it. Yeah, right.
Mamoru invites Edwards in for tea, but he's just here to tell him that there's a get-together at the house tonight, and the ladies are welcome to come to the party. And the girls are like, "Party?"
Yep.
We cut to the title card. When we come back, Mamoru explains that his friend is an English gentleman who has a big house outside the city, and he often holds parties for international students. Nothing weird. The girls are well, we just want to... I'm going to get a chance to make a lot of jokes about how weird this is, but I just want to say I've got plenty of other jokes to make.
Fair.
So we'll just say, seems a little weird, but
It does.
let's just assume it's totally fine.
Okay.
Because they're going to take his heart. It's a pure heart.
Yeah.
So none of the weird stuff will work. So
Right.
it's not weird, even though it's weird. The girls are already fantasizing about this extravagant party, and they're mingling with other young people. And Usagi's like, "A fancy party. From today, I'm a cosmopolitan."
I know.
Throw some grenadine in her. She's done. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Mamoru, however, points out that everyone will be speaking English, so they'll have to practice to keep up. Usagi is excited about a party with Mamo, but she's worried about having to speak English. And Mamo, as a student of Usagi, senses what's coming. So he says, "Yeah, but, that's why we're studying."
Yeah.
But it's too late. She's already lost in a logic loop of Mamo party versus English scary.
Yes.
The girls are like, "Well, I guess we're done for today." As Usagi keeps going, "A party with Mamo, but English. A party with Mamo, but English."
I know.
Have you tried turning Usagi on and off again?
I know. We broke Usagi.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Cut to the basement lab where Dr. Giggles is getting ready to enjoy some classical music on his classical gramophone. And he's on the phone, too, and he's holding a record. So he reminds me of those old compilation record commercials where the guy in the sweater vest is like, "Yeah, I'm just listening to this album. It's full of great hits from the 70s, like sitting on the dock of a bay, watching the time roll away."
Yes.
He's talking to Yodel at Witches 5, and he says that the waltz, with its triple beat, is the epitome of the intellect, refinement, and combative spirit of the Deathbusters. So Egon's the intellect, Venkman's the refinement, and Stance is the combative spirit?
Yeah. So the Deathbusters is their whole group.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, now I understand the Ecto.
Yeah.
The Ecto 1 thing.
Do you think that the gun is similar to
Yes.
the Ecto Pack? Because
Yes.
people have
She is busting hearts.
Yeah.
They should be the Heartbusters.
well, yeah, maybe they should be the Heartbusters.
You're welcome.
But Nako named them the Deathbusters.
Right.
So
They forgot about Winston, but everybody forgets about Winston.
wow. So I did like a little searching to see if Ghostbusters was popular in Japan, but one thing that I did find, fun fact, is the animated series The Real Ghostbusters was actually animated in Japan.
Well, you know, lots of things are animated in the East, but yeah.
I know, but a lot of it, you know, but nowadays it's a lot of it's animated in Korea.
Right.
But
it does have. I didn't watch it a ton. I was a little too old when it came out. I watched it some, and it does have a more animated anime feel than a lot of contemporary cartoons.
Okay. Yeah, I watched it a little bit.
So I can see that.
But yeah.
Well, he puts the record on and he says, it's called Hope for the Future, a composition from my younger days. And on the did he write it?
I think we're supposed to take it he wrote it.
On the other end, Yodel is like, yeah, okay, right. So anyway, we need somebody who can dance a waltz. Is that what we're looking for? And he says, yes, and a person with hopes for the future. Mm-hmm. And she pulls up on her screen, Edward, Mamoru's friend.
Yeah.
He says, Gloria. And he pumps his jam, which is not a waltz, by the way.
No, it's not.
And Yodel like hangs up the phone and she says that much.
Yeah.
She also says, I got a bad feeling about this one. Mm-hmm. But the phonograph goes in the evil microwave, the demon egg goes in it, the box goes in the car, and the car comes out of a lake.
Yep.
But not explosively. It just kind of like drives out like James Bond.
Yeah.
You know, like coming onto the beach.
Yes.
Scaring a nearby couple.
Yeah. Splashing them.
Need to talk about the music that we hear for a second.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I went a little too deep.
Oh no.
On this.
Okay.
And maybe this will just be on the outtakes.
Okay.
So if you're a senshi, inner or outer senshi, you can hear this in the outtakes.
Got it.
At the manor of Mr. Edwards that night, we hear the strains of an actual waltz, and our girls and Mamoru are taking in the party. Many young students, and they're dancing, having a good time. Minako loves all the handsome boys, and Makoto loves all the tall boys. Mm-hmm. Usagi is afraid because this is it. People are using English. Mm-hmm. The girls tell her, this is your chance. Ganbate. Mm-hmm. But she's like, I haven't studied enough to have a chance. Mm-hmm. Over to the group comes Mr. Edwards and two other guys, Mamoru's age, George and other guy. And they're all speaking English.
Yes.
George has dark hair, but he's not Japanese. I mean, it's anime, so how do you really know?
Yeah.
But he's got green eyes and black hair.
Mm-hmm.
And the other guy is explicitly blonde-haired and blue-eyed, so I'm guessing that they are exchange students.
Mm-hmm.
Blondie says, I haven't seen you in a long time.
Yes.
And Usagi's like, long time. And Edwards is like, welcome to my home party. Close.
I know, right?
And Blondie says, good evening, ladies. And George says in Japanese, please introduce us to your friends. And the girls are like, oh my God, you speak Japanese.
I know.
And Blondie says, oh yes, we attend Japanese universities. And Ray's like, that's lucky for you, Usagi. But Usagi's not there. Mm-hmm. She's hiding behind the drapes. She's trying to cram English at the last second.
I know.
Nice to meet you.
Uh-huh.
And they do a thing in the subtitles.
Yes.
I got you. I caught you, subtitles. I am that pedant. They try to do a joke where she says, in English, nice to meet you, M-E-E-T. Uh-huh. And then in the subtitle she says, nice to meet you, M-E-A-T, like she got the wrong word.
Right.
But in English, meet and meet are homophones.
I know.
They sound the same.
I know.
We're not writing anything down, we're just talking. So they are essentially the same word. You have to intend to mean either be introduced to or food made from animals.
I agree.
They sound the same either way.
Yeah.
So whatever she's looking up in her book, you know, would be nice to meet you Japanese phrase, and it would be meat, and it would just be M-E-E-T.
That's true.
The joke would work the other way. Like if the word of Japanese that meant meat, like food, was similar to the one that meant meat, you know, and she ended up saying like, nice to flesh you. You know?
Yeah, right.
But it doesn't quite work. So good try, subtitles.
Yeah.
I just didn't know you were going to run up against the language pedant.
I am like 99% sure that they are not alike at all in Japanese. So there you go.
Right. No, I looked them up. They're not. Because
yeah.
one's oniku is meat.
Yeah, niku is meat.
Something else. There's a lot of different ways to say to meet somebody or to...
Yeah. The most popular is hajimemashite. That's like when you first meet somebody.
Yeah. Well, anyway, she's frustrated.
Yeah.
And she thinks, oh, God, even Ray and Mako are speaking in English.
Yeah.
The dumb ones.
Oh, come on.
And she thinks, you know, I'll have some juice and calm down.
Yes.
And she fumbles for a glass with a cherry in it. Mm-hmm. And she takes a big swig.
Yep.
Back with the boys, George says, and this is just in Japanese again, because how much do you want to make a 10-year-old Japanese kid work while that's Saturday morning while they're watching cartoons?
Yeah.
Mamoru, you should pursue theoretical physics. But Blondie says, oh, come on, that's your thing. And Mamoru says, Ned, what are you studying? And it's Ned.
Yeah.
So, Edward. Geez, so George, Edwards, and Ned. British much?
I know.
Ami's talking to Mr. Edwards and says, oh, they're studying such rigorous disciplines. And Mr. Edwards says, they're the youth of our future. That's why I provide this house for them to meet. This beautiful waltz and these people full of possibilities. If I have these things, life is full of roses. Mm-hmm. And Ami says, oh, it feels like even I can see that rosy future. So things are going well there.
I guess. I'm like, what?
Let's check in with Minako, Mako, and Ray, and they look worn out.
Yeah.
Ray says, I can't keep up with what they're saying. Minako is impressed with Ami, though, here comes Usagi.
I know.
She stumbles in like, blah, Mama-chan. She leans on him, her face is flush, and she says, relativity is like a flan. You mix up eggs and milk and sugar, you cover it with steam for 30 minutes, and it's done. Oh, and add some cream to give it a feminine touch.
Uh-huh.
And the English boys are like, comparing the theory of relativity to a flan, that's just an interesting perspective.
Yes.
Come on, guys. You ever seen a drunk girl before?
I know.
These guys are pure. And they say all this in Japanese. So she's like, whoa, you're speaking Japanese. I'm from Tokyo. Have some sushi. Let's talk about international relations. She accidentally punches Mamoru. And Ned, I guess he could be Australian.
Maybe.
He doesn't have to be a palm.
Yeah.
He says, you're a unique person, Usagi. And she says, oh, nice to meet stew. The cream stew. This is how the joke works.
Yes.
Because she's confusing other English homophones for meat and you.
Yes.
And they're food related because she's Usagi.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yes, thank you. I'm also the joke pedant. Then she says, don't worry, Donburi curry.
I know.
That's our t-shirt. Don't worry, Donburi curry.
I like it.
That's the shirt. Ami's like, she's drunk. And Mr. Edwards is like, Mamoru, why don't you take her to the balcony?
Uh-huh.
You're ruining his rosy future, you lush. They go off and Mr. Edwards says, everyone, now for tonight's entertainment, taking the stage are Haruka Tenno and Michiru Kayo. Uh-huh. And we see Haruka in celery green and Michiru in bridesmaid blue.
I know.
These should not be colors.
I know.
No one wants to wear these colors.
No.
They begin to play Boccioricini's Minuetto, which is stock rich people are having a party music.
Yep.
For every film and TV show.
I know.
You all hear it right now in your head. And the girls are like, hey, it's them. But Ami's like, guys, over here. Out on the balcony, Usagi is leaning over the side, and Ami is trying to give her water. And Mako's like, why did you drink booze? And Usagi's like, what? I didn't drink booze. There's unlimited juice at this party. It's going to be off the hook.
I know.
Usagi does what I assume is their substitute for puking in this kid's cartoon. Because she's like, I had delicious juice.
Yeah.
Like over the side. If we could have puke in this is where, she would puke comedically. And then in a modern comedy, you'd throw in, an ADR off screen. Oh, my dress.
Yeah, right.
From below the balcony. So points for hitting the beach show. You get points from the joke pedant. But I know you're not going to have barf in this kid's cartoon.
No, of course not.
A boot comes out of her. Back inside, Haruka and Michiru are crushing it. And speaking of juice, outside, we see the Ectomobile.
Yes.
And Yodel steps out of it wearing a fancy Cheongsam-influenced dress.
Yes.
And she says, showtime.
It's like she got the note that A, this was in a party where they were going to be speaking English, and B, this is a party, so she had to dress up.
No, she's on theme.
Yeah.
She read the brief.
Yeah.
She did the homework.
Yeah, she did.
She's just not happy about this assignment. She doesn't like it.
No.
Back at the party, the girls and Mamoru have returned, and Usagi seems to be a little more under control. And konbanwa, Haruka and Michiru greet them.
Yeah.
Michiru says, oh, the waltz is starting. Mamoru, may I have this dance? Sexually confident.
I know.
Usagi's like, no, he dances with me.
I know.
Sexually insecure.
And she just blocks her completely.
And Haruka's like, Jesus. Hey, bunhead, let's dance.
And then she's like, okay.
And she sparkles like Ziggy Stardust.
I know.
And Usagi's into that. And Usagi and Haruka start dancing. And the girls are like, okay, this is happening. Mm-hmm. And Rei's like, next. Mamako says, let's arm wrestle for it. But Mina says, let's rock, paper, scissors for it. Or Janken
Yes.
in Japanese.
Yes.
And Ami is like, I'm going to get out of here. You guys are embarrassing.
Uh-huh.
And Michiru says to Mamoru, I hear the master of the house is generous with young people. And Mamoru gives a little backstory on this guy. He says that when he was young, Edwards, he built a fortune ruthlessly, but he realized he had no friends or family to bequeath his fortune to. Okay, so like a Ebenezer Scrooge thing?
Kind of.
Again, that's very English.
Yeah.
Or a Jeff Bezos thing.
Has he learned that lesson?
When are they going to remake A Christmas Carol and try to do it with a modern billionaire?
Oh, don't say that.
Does anybody remember that at the end of A Christmas Carol, Scrooge immediately begins giving all of his money away to everyone?
Yeah.
He doesn't think up a great idea for a series of very profitable shelters for the homeless, or he tries to develop a cleaner, more efficient burning coal. He just starts buying things for everybody.
Yeah.
Because he realizes how worthless his wealth is compared to the love and family that he has lacked for so long.
Yes.
It seems like there's a little lesson there for Space Daddy Bezos.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could see them doing that.
One guy's got a beaver top hat, the other guy's got a cowboy hat.
Oh my God. But
just like to watch him try to do a modern. It's happened already. Speaking of Ghostbusters, Scrooged.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
So, but like Bezos will remake Scrooged, and it will be stripped of all the lessons. I still want somebody to fund my hip hop Christmas Carol.
Your hip hop.
I pitched this to you, right?
I don't remember.
And we're losing a lot of these people, right? Because at first I was going to have Bill Cosby, and it was not going to work. But we got to do this soon because we're losing people. So the Ghost of Christmas Past is like Patti LaBelle or something like that. You get like a classic R&B. And I wanted Aretha, but that's not going to work.
No.
But you get a classic R&B star. The Ghost of Christmas Present, and I came up with this a while ago, so we had to change this, but I won't update it, is like Lil Jon, right? So he's got his cup. He's like, Merry Christmas,
I mean, that's
right?
Perfect, even though he's not really.
Yeah,
right.
Christmas.
Yes.
And then the Ghost of Christmas Future is like Lil Nas X.
Sure.
In like in the Satan costume from the Montero video.
Yeah, I like this.
And then it's all, you get like, again, kind of aging out, but you get like Eddie Murphy plays a record executive, a Motown executive.
Yes.
Who just wants to pump out the new Christmas single. He doesn't care. Just sing it. But he learns the value of Christmas and family.
Ooh, could we have like Mariah Carey actually make a cameo and then she sings her
she
Christmas
careful
song?
where you place her. She doesn't want to be close to Christmas past, I'll tell you that.
No. I mean, just like, how popular her song is for Christmas and stuff like that.
She could be, Tommy Mottola could be the executive.
Wow. Okay.
It's a period piece.
Yeah. All right.
We do a period piece and we can get Little John back.
Sure. All right.
Merry Christmas, everybody. To the jingle, to the balls. Right? All right.
Yes.
Deck the halls. All right. We got to erase all this. I still want to use that. Anyway, Michiru says, a rosy future? That's cute. The future can only be attained by the sacrifice of many. Okay. Capitalist.
Yeah.
But Mamoru says, if you can't pass that future on to others, it has no meaning. You can't do it alone. Hashtag Red Knight, Mamoru's based. Hashtag Tuxedo Minsk.
I like it.
I'm really proud of Tuxedo Minsk. Although Minsk is in Belarus now, so whatever, it doesn't matter.
We'll work that part out
He's
later.
not a tanky.
No.
Across the room from this exchange of ideas, three girls are loudly playing rock, paper, scissors. This is why you don't have high schoolers at a college party.
Yeah.
And watching sinisterly is Yodel. I catch at 13 minutes and 15 seconds. This is the latest break that we've had, I think, because we've got a lot to get to here. We're this thing's top heavy.
It is.
Back to the party, the waltz finishes, and we hear people congratulating Haruka and Usagi in several different languages. So this is really a multicultural party. We hear Chinese, we hear French.
Yes.
A girl comes up and says, dance with me next. But another girl steps in the way, and everybody wants to tear off a hunk of that Haruka.
Yep.
Oh, and the guys want to dance with Usagi too, but she squeezes out of the pig pile as Tuxedo Miraju begins playing. All that classical music, I think, they blew the music budget because it's not even like an arrangement. It's just the ending theme, like with no vocal track. It's just literally the song. They're like, we're out of money. Usagi sees that Mamo is dancing with some skank. And Haruka and Michiru are dancing with each other, and they don't have any partners. But that's okay, because Mr. Edwards wants to talk with them for a moment. And he shows them, like, the main balcony of the house, which looks out over the city and the beautiful view, and they're into it. And he says, "It's my dream that young people will one day create a future as lovely as the flowers in this garden." Okay, we get it. You're thinking about the future. Where's that juice? Let's flip this bitch upside down. He says, "Well, I'll have someone bring you drinks and cake." And Usagi's like, "Woo!"
I know.
But probably for the cake and not for more juice.
Yeah, I know.
So he's being a good host. They're there by themselves. They don't have any dance partners, but he shows them a cool balcony and he feeds them. Nice guy.
Yeah.
Makoto says, "He must have a gentle heart to grow such beautiful flowers." And Ami says, "Young people full of hope and Edward's pure heart fill this house with a rosy future." Okay, we get it. It's rosy. I can't believe there's so much stuff in this episode.
Rosy future. There's roses
every 10
everywhere.
seconds to talk about the future and it being rosy. We understand. Please stop. You know how many creepy jokes I threw out at the beginning of this? Back inside, Mamoru is having a little juice himself. And he sees one of the servers headed for the kitchen, but a weird gas is coming out from under the door. And he's like, "No!" And when the guy opens the door, backdraft.
Yes.
A bunch of blue smoke fills the room, and everybody starts passing out. Edwards runs to help a woman, but she turns. She's wearing a gas mask.
Yes.
It's Yodel.
Yeah.
She shoots his heart out. "Where's her rosy future now?"
I threw it on the ground.
As the girls head back inside, Usagi's still talking about cake. They see the blue smoke, and they look inside to see Edwards on the floor and Yodel holding his heart crystal. But Neptune and Uranus planet power make up. Sailors Neptune and Uranus are here. A deep submerge throws Yodel off balance, and Uranus retrieves the heart crystal.
Yes.
Yodel calls for her demon, and we hear beep, beep, backing up.
I know.
And the star car backs through the wall of the ballroom. The hatchback opens, but nothing happens. Yodel says, "Get out here." And out of the back stumbles a fancy-dressed demon, but she's like, "This dress is so heavy."
I know.
She falls over. Yodel says, it's like Aloy in Horizon Forbidden West. "I've got a headache. I want to go home." But a voice says, "No, you can't." On the second level, we see the Sailor Senshi, and Sailor Moon says, "The bell hasn't struck midnight yet. You can't leave." Mercury says, "You don't look like Cinderella or Cenicienta." And Mars says, "Party crasher." Jupiter says, "The witch from Sleeping Beauty and the sorcerer in Swan Lake, evil party crashers are always defeated." And Venus says, "Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Princess Odette, and, well, you know, the..."
I know.
And Moon saves her. "In the name of all of them, we'll punish you."
Yeah.
Yodel says, "Yep, definitely a headache." And Neptune says, "Sorry, Mario, but your talisman is in another castle."
Yep.
Yodel says, "My bad feeling was right. Chikone!"
Yeah.
She gets in the car and peels out. Chikone, the demon, holds up a flaming blue rose and says, "Un, deux, trois," and whips it at the Senshi and it explodes,
I know.
scattering them. Then she blasts a beam out of her hand and bullseyes Sailor Moon, sending her sprawling to the ground. She will never use this attack again.
I know.
She
I
just
know.
KOs one sailor, one shot. Never go back. The outer Senshi return Edward's heart crystal, and Uranus says, "Yeah, that's enough. World shaking."
Yes.
Blasting the demon. And Uranus is like, yeah, did I go too far? And the pair of Senshi disappear. But Chikone isn't finished yet.
Nope.
This isn't even her final form.
I know.
As the smoke clears, we see that she's got music clefs on her body and a shoulder-mounted gramophone.
Yep.
And staves in her eyes.
Yeah, the lines of
Yes.
music. That's
They
what I
look-
was thinking what it was too.
It has the effect of looking like Kanye's glasses.
Yes.
But it's their musical staffs.
Yeah.
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 She turns her hip-mounted crank.
Yes.
She says, "Waltz of Hell!" and starts blasting like physical notes at the Senshi.
Yeah.
Like they're in a, Schoolhouse Rock bit or something
Right,
like that.
right.
And they stick into the ground. And Usagi's like, "At least fight us with actual music."
Uh-huh.
And the demon says, "Okay, here's a new song recorded just 35 minutes ago called Yodel of the Devil."
Yes.
And she turns a crank. A debilitating yodeling sound comes out, causing the Senshi pain. She says, "This destroys the human nervous system."
I know.
But a red rose shatters the record on the platter, and Tuxedo Mask appears in a second-story window. He says, "Music is the enjoyment of sound." Pedant hat off to you, my friend. You got me there. It mustn't be used to cause pain. I won't forgive anyone who desecrates beautiful music. Chikoin screams and throws the horn from her gramophone at him.
I know.
But he leaps over it and she's like, oh, that was my weapon. TM shouts, now Sailor Moon. And we get the moon spiral heart attack.
Yes.
Chikoin says, I shouldn't have thrown that horn.
I know.
And she gets lovely to that big music hall in the sky.
Yes.
Chico needed the money. And the phonograph shatters. Later at the party, everyone is enjoying themselves again, because why not? You pass out at a party, you wake up again and rally.
I know, right?
Edwards is like, did I doze off? And Ami's like, yeah, it's weird. Usagi and Mamoru are dancing the waltz, and the girls are like, that's so nice. Minako says, where's Haruka? I have to dance with her. And Mako's like, rock, paper, scissors? Rock, paper, scissors?
Yes!
3 rock, paper, scissors.
Yes.
Mr. Edwards has to be rethinking that rosy future thing at this point. Outside in a tree, their natural habitat, Neptune and Uranus are sitting there. Neptune says, bequeathing a legacy to future generations is one way to live life. I gotta apply for DSA. But Uranus says, we don't have that kind of time.
No.
Because silence is closing in on this world. We need to find the talismans as soon as possible. And that's the end.
That is the end.
That might be the longest recap that I've ever done.
Do you think so?
There's just so much going on.
It's so dense.
It is. But it, even just from a Kira Mirror perspective, like there's so many things, but ironically, there's so many things that aren't necessarily something we would talk about in Japanese culture, like talking about Englishmen and manners and speaking English and roses and waltzes, and it's like
cultural exchange.
Yeah, like there are so many subjects, but they're all like none of them are soup for breakfast. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, none of them are something that we talk about. And then that being said, like the action of what goes on, every single character gets something to do, or at least is on brand of their character.
True. Yeah.
This is like the anti-beach episode. Because you're taking the girls and you're taking them out of school and you're sending them somewhere completely different, like it's a vacation thing. But we all, instead of just them jumping around in bathing suits and then fighting a dinosaur or something, like they're getting to all apply their own personalities to, what is happening in the thing. And then even the villain gets a little arc because she's
that's true.
Because her boss is like, I don't know, maybe Udile's like got an arc. I mean, we've got other witches to get to, right? Maybe she's wrapping up her arc because he's like, yeah. So anyway, your boss just calls you up and he's like, I've been doing this. And you're like, I got things I got to do. The boss stops by. Hey, busy? And you're like, actually, I am kind of busy.
You told me to work on this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, I got a good feeling about this. And then.
Well, and she's like, so who am I looking for? Waltz. And then he's like, oh, the sound of the waltz. And she's like, whatever, dude.
Okay, so he's got a pure heart and he likes waltzes.
Yeah,
Hold on,
okay.
let me put that into eHarmony here. And
right, exactly.
Right, yeah. So I just wonder if oh man, there's just so much going on in this episode. But it handles it really well, though. You
think so? I
do. You don't seem to.
So I've conflicted about this episode. I feel like with your you talking about it has made me more excited about it. You giving your recap, which I thought was really good. Because I think it has a lot of really great funny little bits in it. But and I think it all connects. It's just man, they're really pounding that rosy future, and it's we get it. And then who is this Edwards guy? And I guess
it's our job to figure out if there's a significance to the rosy future.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure that there is. And I guess my thing is how much did this move the story forward? One thing.
If you're going to start complaining about that, every single episode is guilty, isn't it?
Well, but I enjoyed it, but it's what did we learn from this episode? One of my favorite little bits in this is Michiru kind of trying to get intel from Mamoru. That's what I think why she asked him to dance. She's like, oh, Mamoru knows this Edwards guy. We sensed something from him, so she's sensing he's got a pure heart or something like that. So she's trying to pull information from him. I
want to know what computer the Outer Senshi have that they're always in the right place. In fact, at this point,
true.
The Death Busters
Actually,
don't they wonder how the heroes get there so fast?
yeah.
I don't know if they know they're in a comic book influenced anime world.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense like in Spider-Man because, Peter's best friend's dad is the Green Goblin. And so if they're going to a new museum that, Harry Osborn's dad is paying for, or like he's just, the Green Goblin goes to attack, something that is his son is dating a girl he doesn't like. I don't know if there's a plot. And then like Spider-Man shows up. Like he must wonder, how does that guy get here so fast?
Right.
Right? Now, later on, like, he literally just learns that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And it's like, oh, okay, that makes total sense. But, like...
Now I get it.
But, like, they're always they always pick somebody who literally our girls are going to meet the next day.
I know.
And I know it's just a convenience to tell the story. But at some point, you think that, like, they go, wait a minute. Write a new program that figures out why these girls always show up so fast. Now, that's convenience for them. Mm-hmm. Now we add a third party, which is the Outer Senshi. How do they know to keep showing up?
So this is what I was going to say. So I think we'll learn more about this later, but Michiru has a little bit of psychic abilities.
Oh.
So
she's slightly psychic.
Yeah, like when she what is the saying that she used to say all the time? Like there's something about the waves and like, oh, the waves are unsteady or something like that. Like, and that was like her code to Haruka that she's sensing something or, I'm getting some sort of feeling from this person or something like that. I don't know. It's not explicit at this point. So,
it doesn't feel like it's explicit.
No, it's not.
You know what's explicit? This show hating on yodeling. Yodeling really gets it. In this.
Thumbs down. Down voted.
I don't know geez. I guess this is like, until, of course, Jewel came along and redeemed yodeling for all of us.
Is that what happened?
But it's just like, that's like a, like a common joke or like a thing you just go, oh yeah, yodeling, right? The worst.
Well, it's like they're like, okay, what type of music can we just like make fun of and trash on that nobody's gonna get super upset about? Yodeling, and it's like, poor yodeling, It's like, what did freaking yodeling ever do to you?
This episode did not air in Switzerland.
Yeah, I know, right?
Backtracking is back for an all-new season. Hi, I'm Caliban.
And I'm Gooey Fame.
And we'd like to introduce you to Backtracking, the podcast that explores the real-world inspirations behind your favorite episodes of Star Trek.
From historical events to classical literature to blockbuster films, we go where no pod has gone before to seek out the origins of classic Trek tales.
Did you know, Gooey, that the TNG episode Too Short a Season was an allegory for the Iran-Contra affair?
Yeah, only sweatier. Did you know that the Enterprise episode Regeneration was an homage to the John Carpenter film The Thing?
Archer and T'Pol freezing to death over a bottle of whiskey would have been a controversial ending.
As a dog lover, Archer would not like The Thing, I'm guessing.
Oh my god, movie night is canceled. Join us every other Thursday for a journey back to the beginnings of the Trek universe.
Backtracking is available wherever you get your podcasts.
No, Porthos!
Today, for Kyoro Kuromiru, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, we're going to be talking about dance, but specifically kind of like cultural views of Western dancing in Japan, as well as ballroom dancing.
Okay.
Yeah.
The old waltz.
Yes. After Japan opened up its borders, ballroom dancing was very popular, but it was...
Okay, sorry, ballroom. I thought you said barroom dancing, and I'm like, all right.
Barroom? Woo! What? Oh, no, ballroom. Did I say it weird? I'm getting my L's and R's mixed up. No, ballroom dancing was very, very popular, but it was soon largely viewed as Western degeneracy. So ballroom dancing became popular again after World War II, when hundreds of dance halls were built to help entertain occupying American soldiers, which, American soldiers stayed in Japan for a while after the war. But, which we haven't really talked about a whole lot before, but there were a lot of them for a while. Anyways, but at the time, it was still thought of as a sleazy, quote, excuse for men to approach women, one dance instructor told Newsweek. And in 1948, a new law called Businesses Affecting Public Morals Regulation Law was created.
Oh boy.
It's known as Fuzoku Eigyo Torishimaru Ho, or Fueho for short, in Japanese. And this law targeted businesses in the sex industry, food, alcohol, and entertainment, which includes dancing.
Yeah.
Specifically, dance was forbidden in nightclubs with dance floors smaller than 66 square meters, or nightclubs that operate after 1 a.m. Or midnight in some areas. So this is,
if you want to have a dance function, that you can do that. But we don't want, like, no discos. I know disco didn't exist, but, like, no dance halls, no...
Yes.
Rouge my knees and roll my stockings down
Right.
type thing. Like, yeah, it's like you want a function. A function's fine. You know, the ladies' auxiliary is going to have a dance and ice cream social. Fine.
But it can't be later than midnight.
We're not doing any Velma Kelly stuff.
Right. It can't be later than midnight.
Okay, that makes sense.
It can't be later than 1 a.m.
Now I know. I always wondered if there was like a cultural pushback, because obviously you're in a position where you are rebuilding your society after it's been, bombed flat.
Yeah.
And then you've got a bunch of American GIs around. Mm-hmm. And so what does that do? And clearly culturally they're like, okay, all right, we're taking some of this back.
Yeah.
Stop with the Michelob beer and stop with the Watusi shimmy shake,
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I think censorship, is culturally is bad, but I understand them trying to push back against it.
Yeah, and many people also agree with you as well, and agreed with you at the time. But when the law was created, dance halls were frequently a front for prostitution in Japan, which
you want modern girls? That's how you get modern girls.
Yeah, I know, right? Which was, it was very prevalent in recovering World War II era. And this law was... But I should also mention that this law was mostly ignored by Japanese law enforcement for decades, which allowed Japan's dance scene to thrive from the 70s to the 90s. And disco was huge in Japan in the 70s. And
I can't tell you how happy that makes me to hear that.
And interestingly enough, I also read that it had a resurgence in the 90s. Like in Japan, like it was popular again in the 90s. So I just find that
like
very
as a goof.
No, they were freaking like.
Okay.
I mean, I think they just enjoyed it, anyways. But after a few high-profile drug cases that involved celebrities and a fight outside a club in Osaka in 2010 that claimed the life of a 22-year-old student, that all changed.
Oh yeah, that's not good.
So police started to do raids on establishments, and they used the no dancing laws as a means to arrest club patrons and DJs.
Sure.
So those arrested were frequently tested for drugs at police stations. And
drugs was yes.
And some of those arrested even did some jail time. And we're not talking about necessarily long sentences, but I know I read at least like one DJ was in jail for like about a month because of this.
Right. But this is just the interrupt arrest. This is just like, let's just now we're going to enforce this law.
Cease and desist.
To just stop things.
Yeah, but this kind of became known as Japan's War on Dance.
Ooh.
Right? I think that sounds good.
That sounds like a movie.
I know, right? As a result, it wasn't uncommon to see no dancing signs in Japanese bars and nightclubs. And the signs were an attempt to avoid arrests and issues with police. In 2013, the Let's Dance petition committee, initiated by musician Ryuichi Sakamoto and others, garnered more than 150,000 signatures asking lawmakers to get rid of the ban on dancing.
Huh.
And starting in 2016, the law was relaxed, so they were fairly successful. So permits for dancing are now available as long as certain conditions are met, including lighting and not operating near residential areas.
Man, that's recent.
Yes. So this is what I'm talking about. So this law went into effect after World War II, but was largely ignored until this kid was murdered in 2010. And that's when the law enforcement came down in 2010. And so that then in 2013, they had the petition. And then in 2016, the law was relaxed.
Japan, I've got a little movie for you to watch. It's a Kevin Bacon starring film.
I know, right?
Called Footloose.
I think that'd be great.
You can title it something else if you want.
Footloose.
For your own ease.
Yeah.
But yeah, John Lithgow, he does not like dancing.
Yeah.
But Kevin Bacon can't help it.
I've never seen Footloose.
Bear now.
I know the song.
It's okay. It's
The
not.
song's fun.
It's not a fantastic film, but yeah.
Oh, anyways,
What?
yeah. But like specifically the lighting in club seating areas can't be too dark, and this is intended to prevent crime. So
Because crime arises in the dark. That's what Batman told me.
I think specifically they're thinking like drugs and sex, you know, in dark, seedy areas. So,
Where are the other dances happening?
yeah, exactly. So
Dance with me.
Oh my God, no. With Tokyo's 2020 Olympic Games in mind, there was also a large political push to lift the ban quickly. I'm kind of thinking, you know, we want to make sure that foreigners enjoy themselves, and we don't want to be weird.
Yeah, we don't want to look square.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's coming here from all over the world.
Yeah. Like, this is kind of a weird thing.
We're cool.
Yeah.
You know, beer? Yeah, we're cool.
But I just
Oh,
think
I dance. I'm dancing all the time.
I know, but like politicians on like both sides were like, we should lift this ban.
Everybody take your no dancing signs down.
Yeah, exactly.
But keep the tape because we're putting them back up.
Yeah, I know, right? But initially, Fueho, the law, also applied to dance schools. Dance schools were removed from the ban in 1998 after the movie Shall We Dance made ballroom dance popular again. And I am talking about the original Japanese film, not the remake with Richard Gere. Okay?
Yeah.
Get that out of here. But the original film is great, and I highly recommend it.
Huh.
The film was released in 1996, and more than 2 million people saw it in theaters, which is a lot for a Japanese-produced film. And after the release, dance schools in Japan reported a 20% increase in attendees.
No, I haven't. Oh, okay. So I haven't seen Shall We Dance, but
Yes.
is it like the Japanese version of Strictly Ballroom?
Oh God. I mean, it is like there's a lot of ballroom dance, so there's that part of it.
But I mean, like, you know, Strictly Ballroom is like, it's an Aussie movie, and it's like, you know, a girl who can't dance, gets lessons from a guy that can.
It's kind of like that.
And then they like fall in love, you know, while they're learning to dance.
It's kind of like that
for nationals.
Yeah, but it's different. So it's like a salaryman who on the outside looks like he's super successful, and he's married, he's got a kid.
Japan.
Yeah, whatever.
Can't have a woman be the lead of a film.
Yeah,
know that.
He's
so dumb.
All right. Anyways, but he's like unhappy with his life, but like on his way home, he on the train he sees this beautiful woman, and he's intrigued by her, keeps seeing her, and so he starts secretly taking dance lessons, so like he learns that he actually really loves dancing, and it becomes his new passion, but he has to keep it a secret from his family and his coworkers because ballroom dancing is generally thought of as being embarrassing in Japan.
But he's got to cut loose.
Yeah.
Foot loose.
Yeah. But I mean, it like goes all sorts of places. Like his wife, like she knows something is up. She sees this change in him, but she doesn't know what. She thinks he's having an affair. So she hires, I guess I'm spoilers for Shall We Dance, but go watch it. She hires a private investigator to figure out what he's doing. And then so she finds out that he's been doing this dancing, but another twist is the private investigator, he's doing all this stuff and he becomes like a huge fan of ballroom dancing.
No.
And so like him and like the wife are in the audience when he's competing.
Okay.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
You're not
I'll
impressed.
stick with strictly ballroom.
Wow. Okay. But ballroom dancing was first introduced in Japan in the 19th century, and its popularity has ebbed and flowed throughout the years. But shall we dance brought renewed interest to a broader audience, and it also made it seem not like a less elitist sport or activity, you know?
Yeah.
During the Meiji period, ballroom dancing was called Soshoru Dansu, which was replaced by the Japanese translation of Shako Dansu. And Shako means sociability, and it communicates like the nature of the dances. But basically, when they say social dancing, they mean ballroom dancing.
Okay.
And today, Shako Dansu includes the waltz, tango, cha-cha, foxtrot, etc. And it often refers to competitive ballroom dancing like we saw in Shall We Dance?
Mm-hmm.
And the Japanese were originally taken aback when they were first introduced to ballroom dancing, which at the time included a lot of group dancing and couple dancing, such as the quadrille, cotillion, and the waltz. But one of the main reasons that they were taken aback was the interaction of men and women. In Japan, the idea of otoko wa soto, ona wa uchi, or men are outside, women inside, was strongly upheld. And additionally, in the beginning of the Meiji era, the writings of the Confucian moralists Kaibara Eken were very popular, and his doctrine advised that boys and girls should be separated early on in their childhood and avoid physical contact.
Wow. Confucius. Didn't take you for a prude.
Well, this is, this guy's
Confucius
interpretation.
Say,
yeah.
Ladies, stay away.
I know. So, I mean, that's a big, yeah. But however, it was deemed early on that if Japan wanted to westernize, they would need to participate in ballroom dancing, as it was incredibly popular socially in the West and would allow foreign relationships to strengthen. So I want to emphasize that it was not only seen as a social event, but because it's a social event, they're like, okay, this will give us, this is a means for us to strengthen our relationship, grow this cultural and governmental bond with these other countries.
Everybody's got to bite the bullet and cut a rug.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Or more cliched.
The Roku Meikan, or banqueting house, was a large two-story building in Tokyo that was built in 1883, and it became a controversial symbol of westernization. It was commissioned for the housing of foreign guests by the foreign minister Inoue Kaoru, and it was designed by British architect Josiah Conder, a prominent Western advisor working in Japan at the time. What?
Is this our Mr. Dance?
No, unfortunately.
Okay.
I looked. I found a Mr. Dance in something.
Arthur Murray is Mr. Dance.
Well, Christ.
And he has,
yes.
Schools all over Japan.
Well, I looked, and it was really hard to find something. I found one, student's thesis that had a Mr. Dance, but then I looked up the person, and nothing else said that they taught dance. Oh. It just said they were a good dancer. Okay, so I'm like, I'm not gonna, this is not our Mr. Dance.
The Japanese Fred Astaire.
Yeah, right.
The thing about the Japanese Ginger Rogers is she had to do it backwards in a kimono with those wood shoes.
Stop.
Right.
Yeah, right. So Inoue's intent with the Roku Meikan was to impress Western visitors by creating a Western atmosphere in which diplomats and foreign dignitaries could be themselves among cultural equals. And he hoped that they would be more inclined to regard Japan as an equal in terms of civilization in European minds. The Roku Meikan held elaborate banquets with menus written in French. In the ballroom, Japanese gentlemen in evening dress imported from tailors in London danced the waltz, polka, and the quadrille, with Japanese ladies dressed in the latest Parisian fashions to the latest European songs played by an army or navy band. And foreign residents of Tokyo, so people outside of Japan.
And Americans firing their 6-shooters into the air.
Yeah, right. So foreign residents of Tokyo were hired as dancing tutors. That's the closest I got to a Mr. Dance. It's foreigners teaching. Dancing, so I want to go back a little bit. So about talking about how close they're dancing. So dancing is sometimes viewed as being scandalous in Japanese culture due to skinship or skinship. This is a wasei-eigo term, or an English word coined in Japan, that generally means body contact. And this term was initially coined to refer to the body contact between a mother and a child, which is considered to be very important in Japan. I think we've talked about this a little bit before, but it typically ends once a child starts school. So like the idea of having a mother share skin-to-skin contact with her baby, and in Japanese culture, by and large, I think this is still true today. Young children usually sleep with their parents and bathe with their parents, but this typically ends once a child starts school. So once this child starts going to school, then they bathe on their own and they sleep on their own.
Right, sure.
But the term has also come to mean body contact in general. So it means both. And when you socially dance, body contact is incredibly important, not only to the formation of the dance, but also to communicate non-verbally with your partner.
Yeah.
And many Japanese people are embarrassed just at the idea of how much skinship needs to happen in order to socially dance. And having the opposite sexes touch so much in public culturally suggests that they're intimate partners and having sex with each other. Which, you know, when you take dance lessons, you're often dancing with somebody who isn't like your life partner or who you're dating.
Yeah.
But that's just, I just want that to come across culturally.
Okay, calm down, Japan.
I know, but there isn't a lot of PDA in Japan, and Japan is often viewed as a non-touch culture. So, like, there was a study done in the 70s about like body contact between like young Americans versus young Japanese people, and there was somebody who like was talking about how they didn't experience skinship, so like maybe experienced skinship when they were a young child, but didn't really experience it again until they started dating somebody. So I mean, like, maybe you hug your friend, but like there's like, you know, especially careful with like the opposite sex, like in public, you know, there's only like touching on the hand or the arm or you know, something like that. And in like dancing, like you are fully touching somebody else's body, you know, like your thighs touch and your hips touch, and oh my God. And so, but that is why it was viewed so scandalously in the past, and that is why, largely why it was included in the ban in World War II as well, because it has this connotation that that sex is happening, or the idea of sex, you know. So yeah, I just think that that's really interesting, and that's another reason why in Shall We Dance he kept it a secret, you know. In the
90s.
Yeah, in the 90s.
Say Lindy Hop. Skinship sounds like if hedonism resorts like had a cruise, you know, it'd be the Skinship.
No!
Come on, 6 days and 7 nights on the Skinship. No minors allowed.
That just sounds like a nudist colony on a ship.
Yeah.
Do you want to enter a skinship with me?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ready for skinship.
I know. Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? So there's a lot of things here and there, but at Mamo's apartment, they're drinking iced herbal tea. So I'll take your word for it. It looks just like when they have melon soda. It's the same green, but, you know, whatever.
Right.
And of course, Mamo's cookbook, world curries that you can make yourself. We already talked about that. And then, yeah, Usagi has some juice to calm down, you know, so she's getting her best buster on at the ball, and then I do like I love that when she's drunk she's talking about food. I love that because it's like of course she is.
Yeah, that's her way into to this science conversation. She's like, "Oh, well, okay, I'll tell you about relativity."
I know, and
it's like a flan.
I know, and I love that. Don't worry, Dunbury curry. Like Dunbury kind of sounds like don't worry. I mean, it's like it's funny and
don't
simple.
worry, Dunbury curry.
It's like sure, and then go ahead.
The drink that she picks up has a cherry in it. And it's like, I'm trying to figure out like what drink it was. And it's in like, it's in a rounded glass.
Okay.
But that doesn't really tell you anything. So it's
what has grenadine in it?
See, I was thinking maybe it's, well, I don't know that it has grenadine, but it has a cherry in it.
Yeah. And it's
in that rounded glass. Yeah.
Red.
So, I thought the cherry might've been like a Tom Collins.
Okay.
So you can get a Tom Collins. It's not really a Collins glass, but something like that. But otherwise, I don't really know. I mean, it's just a cocktail glass and a cherry in the bottom, and then it's kind of a pale liquid. It's not really like colored. So
yeah,
I just figured like a Tom Collins.
Okay, I could see that. I mean, I was like, I've had a lot of Shirley Temples in my day, but that's non-alcoholic.
I mean, this is a kicking party.
Yeah, I know. Free
Plus
booze
a Tom Collins
just on a table.
to continue the European, certainly a UK version of it, like a Tom Collins would be. If it was a gin Collins, that's definitely a UK drink.
Okay. Well, maybe that's what it was. And I love how Edwards is on the balcony and he's like, I'll have someone bring you drinks and cake. And my first thought was like, don't give her more drinks.
Right, yeah.
Like, what are we talking about when we say drinks? You know?
Yeah. How cool is Mr. Edwards?
Yeah, right.
Is Mr. Edwards like, oh, it's fine.
When I
as long as you nobody's drunk, we'll get taxes for everybody. It's fine. The cool parent.
Yeah, right. When I say rosy future, I mean, rosy like your face, Usagi.
Yeah, so, right. Those are the roses.
Yeah.
Your drunk little faces.
Yeah, your drunk little faces.
And then phase 2.
And I'm going to stuff you with cake.
Whoa.
When I Hansel and Gretel you.
Oh, my God.
Watch out. Watch out for Edwards.
Wait, what's happening?
I'm just totally assassinating his character. This guy's got a pure heart. I'm just going after him. Well, let's go after our villain for villain gauge, where you rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The daemon in this episode is named Chikuon. And
Chiko needed the money.
Yeah. Her name is a reference to chiku onki, the Japanese term for a gramophone or a phonograph.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
So she is what she says on the tin.
Yeah.
And then her design, we get a disguised daemon.
Yeah, so this is interesting.
It's so fun. I like it. And I think when we were watching it, it's like you said like, oh, Yodel like made her dress up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like that idea. It seems like it.
Well, there's going to be a reveal. Like she's there's a demon who already is, part running shoe or just has some weird aspect. Seems like they're in a costume, but we put a costume on your costume demon, so you can costume demon while you costume demon.
I know.
Yeah.
And then I love that she's like, oh, this dress is so heavy. It's so great.
Yeah.
But
they don't seem to be able to. So like the droids could sort of be, they could have other forms. They could be working in an ice cream shop or a perfume thing. They could be human. Yeah. But the demons are just these.
They're just whatever you
Isle
make
of
them.
Misfit toy creatures that come out. But she's like, no, you're putting a dress on.
Yeah.
This is a fancy thing.
Yeah.
We're doing a heist. I bought a gas mask.
I know.
Yeah. We're doing the whole thing.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yodel, I like your style. I think she's got.
She's trying to keep herself entertained.
I know. To me, she's got more personality than Kalanite.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I think that people talk about Kalanite like highly. not to like bury her, but I just like, she's just flying around and she's being mean, but like have some personality. Like give me an Esmeralda any day. I freaking love Esmeralda. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyways, but I digress. So she has, Chikuon has blue skin, but so she also kind of looks like a European from the 1860s. I think that's kind of what they're going for.
Yes and no.
Or maybe like earlier than that.
So there's something that we didn't talk about is all the mentions of fairy tales and balls and things like that.
True,
So
Cinderella.
If you're thinking about the classic, French Cinderella character, that would probably be not the Disney. That would probably be mid 1700s.
Okay.
France, which would be Baroque,
So that's why the
Marie
white
Antoinette.
wig.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
and they didn't, and because it's not our main form, they didn't spend a lot of time like on details and drawing a lot of stuff. It would definitely be a lot more elaborate if she was going for that. But I think that's what they're kind of evoking.
Right. She's got a white wig with like ringlets, tons of ringlets everywhere. And then she has like a red mask that kind of looks like a butterfly.
Yeah,
to me.
yeah. Uh-huh.
And then this long blue dress that's huge, like lots of petticoats, and lots of blue roses. She's got freaking roses because it's a rosy future. Did you get it? Did you get it?
Right. But these are burning blue roses on fire.
I know.
Exploding.
Exactly. And then, of course, she's got white gloves and blue high heels. And then she takes her disguise off and her hair looks like brown carved wood. I love it. Yeah. It's like a little bob. Yeah. And then she's got, of course, she has pink lipstick and her eyes, we talked about this before. It's like did you call them staves? Like the lines on sheet music. Yeah. Which is really cool. Her bodice is a gramophone. It's a brown wood sleeveless unitard, complete with it's leotard. I always get them mixed up. It's leotard, right?
A unitard has legs.
Yeah, brown sleeveless unitard. I don't know why I have a problem with those two words.
It does go down to her knee, her ankles.
So complete with a crank on her right hip and a sound horn.
I don't know how she got the leotard on.
I don't.
Maybe the crank detaches.
Yeah, right. I don't know how she got the dress on. Yeah. So then on her left, she has the sound horn attached, and it has, of course, the needle, and the record is on her right shoulder. And there's a treble clef tattoo on her right arm and a music note on her abdomen. And she has white tights. I'm calling them tights. That's got like black musical notes and clefs and that sort of thing on them. And then she also says like Waltz of Hell at one point, which is pretty great. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why we're so negative on yodeling, but that's what we got.
Yeah. Well, I can remember a time when people don't even talk about yodeling anymore, but I remember a time people were like, oh, boy, this is like, having a CD of yodeling.
Yeah, I know, right?
Constantly. Like the worst thing. I don't know. I felt like the things on her legs, her leggings.
Yes.
I feel like that's a stylized bass clef symbol.
Okay.
It's just kind of stretched out and it's around her, but it's got the dot kind of gives it away because that's the bass clef.
Okay. All right. So yeah, now we're up to our rating. I like that she has a disguise. I think that that's super fun. I like her overall design, especially like the wood hair and the crank and I guess the whole phonograph thing. I think they did that well. And I like that she kind of sings when she talks. Yeah. That was really fun. I like that she throws music notes and then Sailor Moon gives her the idea to fight with music. And she's like, oh yeah, I'll do that. And I love that she throws her sound horn at Tuxedo Mask and immediately regrets it. Yeah. So that's pretty great. Wow, I'm like struggling because I'm kind of like on the edge here. But I think I'm going to give her 4 out of 5 dark stars. Although I really did like enjoy her. Wow. So
no struggle at all for me. 5.
Damn it.
Every good boy does fine, and every good demon gets a 5.
I should have given her a 5. Why do I always immediately regret it when you give something a 5?
No, your choices are your own life choices.
I know.
Something that I really enjoy about this entire episode is the fact that there's so much going on in here, to the point where, in fact, I think if they had cut out all the repeated talking about the future and the rosy future and the roses and these young kids, we get it.
It's my least favorite part.
But he does it like he cut the one out where he pulls Ami aside and talks to her.
Seriously.
Why is it important that happens?
Because Ami is such a genius.
Yeah,
I don't know if you knew.
But they all do it later again on the balcony. And,
I know.
And so I don't know. And plus that never intersects with. Now I'm doing my episode review. That never intersects with the very quick conversation between Mamoru and Michiru about their kind of worldviews. They're talking about how they fight crime, but they don't know it.
Yes.
But anyway, all that happens, and yet it'd be easy for the monster to be completely an afterthought, and yet it's not. They do push the monster into like the last couple minutes of the episode, but it's extra intense. So it takes up a small amount of time, but it's very memorable. And we go off through a couple different aspects of what this thing does. You know, it's throwing notes at people, it's shooting lasers and bombs, and then it plays the yodeling, the waltz from hell. It's got a costume change.
I know.
Like there's just so much going on.
I should have given her a 5.
And then she does the thing that a thug does to Superman, right? Where it's like you shoot, blam, 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 bounce, bullets bounce off of Superman, and then the guy throws the gun, you know?
Yeah,
It's
right.
Like, what's that going to do?
I know, right?
Yeah. So she just throws the phonograph horn at him, and immediately she's like, oh, no, I shouldn't have done that. Give me that back.
I want that back.
Give me that back. Yeah. So just got personalities, got great powers.
Yes.
They leaned on a concept and didn't wear it out. And just top. It enters the pantheon of top Yoma for me.
Yeah, I think she's up there for
Chico.
me too, Evo, even though I didn't give it to her. So that'll be reviewed at my end of the season.
Yes.
Anyways.
That will be reflected in your rating.
Yeah. But to me, I think that she makes this episode a lot better. So, even though I think there's a lot of fun things in this episode, I think she brings it up even more. For Farewell My Lovely, where we talk about how they go out, she knows she's doomed, and she screamed, "I should have never thrown my horn!" And she sings, "Lovely!" But like it's pretty great. So I'm gonna give that a 5.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 5 too.
All right.
For all the same reasons. We've got a quip from her. She's not just like standing agop as this thing's happening.
I know, right?
And it goes back to the funny bit from before, and there's a really long pause on this one, and then she has an operatic lovely, which is part of her idiom as she goes out. And so, I'll give this a 5.
I think that's awesome.
It's a measure of a lot of things, but it's also a measure of, the impact. This is the exclamation point on the end of the Yoma's sentence, and it's a short sentence, but it's powerful. And so, got to give it a 5.
Yeah, I agree. Now we're up to our wrap up. I really like the scene at Mamo's apartment. It's nice to have a different atmosphere for them while they're studying. Yeah. And it's nice to see Mamo helping them. I just want there to be more of that. So that gets a thumbs up. There's some great comedic beats in that as well. And I love the Usagi, like, a party with Mamo, but English. I mean, it was,
she's just going to do this for a while.
It was great. And I like that when Usagi's drunk, she talks about food. The rock, paper, scissors to dance with Haruka is great. The moment where Usagi is like, when Michiru asks to dance with Mamo, she's like, no, and her arms like, blocking her.
Yeah, we didn't mention that the entire time that she's hammered, like she is like a chibi Usagi.
Yeah.
She's like squat and like, she's
got a very round face.
Comedically, yeah.
Yes. And then like as soon as Haruka asks her to dance, she's like, okay. And then on top of that, for some reason, maybe it's just because, and they kind of talk about it, they were like, oh my gosh, Usagi is like, she's dancing really well with Haruka. This is not typical clumsy Usagi. And it's like, oh, it's because Haruka is is leading.
Yeah.
But I mean, she does okay with Mamo later too. Anyways,
Yeah.
She does okay. I love Michiru's collecting intel from Mamo while she dances, and the daemon was excellent. But I could do without so many rosy features. So I am gonna give this 4 out of 5 roses.
Okay.
It maybe if everything connected together more, it would have been a 5.
Yeah, I am going to also give it a 4, even though this is usually an insult. I'm just using this as an instructive thing, but this is less than the sum of its parts. And there are some huge parts.
There are.
In it, this is like when you go to a restaurant and it's all over a pretty good experience, but you're paying a lot. You feel like you're overpaying.
Yeah,
but let's say before. The fish is fantastic, and oh my god, the creme brulee, the best I've ever had. But and then there's some asparagus, and it was fine,
Yeah.
And then it's like $200. That's kind of like how I feel. I loved many aspects of this, and ambitious too. Screw fish and asparagus. I should have picked something really out there for the meal, but there's a lot of things going on that don't normally happen. We're using every part of our ensemble, except for the cats and the kid. And the English thing is great, and so there's a lot of good stuff here, but you could have put even more stuff in. I almost feel like the Rose talk and the future talk is sort of grouting up the cracks in it.
Yeah.
Maybe if the cats had snuck in and they were having a runner where they're being chased out by the waiter, not this, but you have so much in this world that you could have filled that in with something other than just we get it. And I still don't, if this guy is supposed to be somebody and we couldn't find out who it was, let us know in the comments. But they just keep bringing this guy back. And so, it's only a -1 for the schmaltz, but otherwise, gotta go 4 stars.
It was too much schmaltz. You gave me 2 teaspoons of sugar.
4
I just
roses.
wanted 1. Yeah, right.
4 roses.
4 roses.
Yes.
You don't get 5.
Future roses.
Yes, 4
they're
future
time-traveling
roses.
roses.
So my English title is Mamo Party. Nice to meet you. MEAT. So, yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Or Mama Party, but English.
Yeah, right.
My me title references the fact that this, of course, involves dancing and also the proper speaking of English to other people. So the title I picked was Dance, Dance, Elocution.
Ah, nice. Nice.
Nice to meet you.
Next episode, we are talking about episode number 109. Shogeki no Toki, Akasareta Tagai no Shotai in Japanese. The shocking moment. Everyone's identity is revealed. The English translation and the English title, No Turning Back.
Whoa.
Yeah.
A threshold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait till we cross over that.
Yes.
Oh, boy. I feel like I kind of predicted this.
I mean, I think you were saying a couple episodes ago.
I mean, we gotta. Well, it's that time. We gotta move things forward.
Yes.
Well, that sounds amazing. If you want to be amazing, why not follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram? You can find us as either Sailor Noob or Noob_Sailor.
Yes.
Of course, we're always looking for reviews. If you want to give us a review or at least a rating, I think you can rate on Spotify now. So whatever listening platform you use, go and give us a rating. Let us know you're out there. And of course, if you want more content from us, more podcasts, outtakes from the show, and more, you can find us at patreon.com/Sailor Noob. Sign up, become one of our senshi today.
Yeah. And we also have a Discord. So we have a list tree as well. If you go to our Instagram, it is the link there, and you'll be able to find all our socials right there.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Let's go.